propellers slash rotors, which have a diameter of 11.6 meters or 38 feet each. So much in evidence. Fixed-wing aircraft. And that's all been achieved in spades with the Osprey, which first flew 30 years ago now, in March 1989, but started coming into service during the year 2000 with both the US Marine Corps in MV-22 form and with US Air Force Special Operations Command on initially test duties that year as the CV-22B became operational with the Air Force in 2007. And they've really been proving their worth, these aeroplanes, in all sorts of roles. We'll shortly see the aircraft beginning to decelerate and convert to VTOL. The Osprey is able to transport 24 combat troops, first deployed to Iraq in 2007. 2009 began operating in Afghanistan. This is the Air Force model, the CV-22B, which performs long-range missions in support of US Special Operations Command. It infiltrates those forces into hostile zones, resupplies them once they're there. They have a machine gun on there, also equipped with a hoist and fast roping equipment to deploy troops to the ground. They can either use RAF. Quick climb away there to about 500 feet, and there's the transition to aircraft mode again. The rotors tilting forwards, speed increasing.
Critical thing with that is the timing, the phasing. At the beginning it's rotor-borne flight, so it's the rotors that are providing 100% of the lift. And then there's a transition period to what you see now, where the wings are providing 100% of the lift. So the whole transition takes about 15 seconds or so as the aircraft accelerates to its minimum flying speed, which is around about 100 knots.
The pilots would slow the aircraft so they can make tighter turns and stay at lower level, but the aircraft's performance in more conventional aircraft mode also gives them the option to fly above ground threats, which may not be the case with all helicopters. And it's very flexible in other ways. When the aircraft's at low weight, pilots would regularly tilt the Osprey's nacelles to 80 degrees for jump takeoffs, and at higher weights, aircraft-style takeoffs are more common, but you can still perform a jump takeoff. At Mildenhall, the delivery of the Osprey, they started to arrive there in 2013, has resurrected the 352nd Special Operations Wing's vertical lift capabilities. They've retired the Sikorsky MH-53M Pavlo 4 helicopters in 2007, and they're now up to a full complement of 10 Ospreys. And it's a very versatile machine for the Special Operations role, with the tilt-rotor configuration giving it a wide speed range and better high-altitude capabilities than a helicopter. The US Air Force is looking at arming its Ospreys. It has a requirement for a forward-firing gun, and the whole fleet is getting new radars. And there are new roles for the type as well. It's now being built for the US Navy's carrier onboard delivery role, the COD role, helping keep the aircraft carriers at sea resupplied, replacing the fixed-wing C-2 Greyhound. And the first Ospreys for that role due in service in 2021. Beyond that, Bell Boeing are looking at anti-submarine warfare and gunship versions. They've tested rocket and missile armament on the Osprey. It's been suggested also the V-22 could be turned into an electronic warfare or an airborne early warning platform.
From a troops perspective, it's the wide speed range that is the key advantage of this aircraft over a standard rotary aircraft. The ability to land in a forward operating base, to pick the troops up, and then to fly at virtually twice the speed that a conventional helicopter would, means that you're put in harm's way for a shorter period of time. I did a tour in Afghanistan for a year back in 2012. We were out probably 3 or 4 times a week, and our usual mode of transport was a Black Hawk. And when these pitched up, about 6 months into that tour, what was previously a 2-hour transit turned into 50 minutes, and it just gave you the ability to do so much more.
And it's an ability that attracted the attention of the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Force, who started receiving Ospreys a couple of years ago. Became the first export buyer of the type. Always nice to see here, and Major Adam Darrow from the 7th Special Operations Squadron doing the flying today of the Bell Boeing CV-22B Osprey of the US Air Force. And some of the eagle-eyed amongst you might well have noticed a bit of a juxtaposition off towards the right-hand end of the airfield. That aircraft, built partly by Bell, partly by Boeing, and another Boeing product, has established itself in the hold over RAF Bryce Norton, ready for its part on the programme shortly. Thank you, Sam. Final pass before departure for the Osprey. The whole fleet of the 352nd Special Operations Wing at Mildenhall now renewed, not just by the Osprey, but also the new MC-130J variant of the Special Operations Hercules.